Yeah, you know what? We tell everybody's a hip hop critic, but all I want to know is really, what do you know? I've been blessing people with this deep voice, this voice, hoping you understand that my music's top choice. Cultures and nations are starting to see that hip hop is crazily advanced. Poetry fluently is flown in like water, mentally reshaping you just like the new world order. What's the cause and effect? When I write some good lyrics, it's the sound.
Saying it definitely has a connection, you know. So shout out to the pioneers. Shout out to all of you coming. Hopefully, you're gonna learn some things tonight about hip hop, even like straight up and down, right? The Bronx, DJ Cool Herc, Sedgwick Ave. All right, August 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1973, in the BX. Yeah, that's the birth chizzy. That's the birth chart for hip hop. It spread globally around the world. Bambada, DJ Kool Herc, Zulu Nation, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, right? Melly Mel, The Message. We're going to show you in the chart when that came out, 1982, 10th house. So it's a Pisces rising, a Capricorn moon in the 11th house, the Leo sun and Mercury in the 6th house of work, service, humanity, co-workers, bosses. It's a fascinating chart, all right? 12th house Aquarius, Jupiter. Oh, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. My sidekick will be joining me shortly, but I'm passionate about it. Being the younger brother of hip hop. Oh my God. No, we can't play that. Stop.
Why not?
Because it's not.
Just for a second.
No, you cannot.
Oh,
Anyway,
my goodness.
listen, because yes, I'm getting monetization. Come on, you know this. Don't do stuff. Anyway, what's up? My sidekick is bugging, but that's okay because I'm trying to teach everybody about hip hop tonight. Okay, what DJ Kool Herc was doing, right, at these parties, he was rocking the breakbeat of records and songs. So then the B-boys could dance, and that's how they became break dancers, right? So they would be the A1 of their crew, be the best dancer of their crew. Like, yo, I'm the A1 dancer. Now, I grew up in, first in Washington Heights. Shout out to Washington Heights at 193rd on the 18th floor. But then on the Upper West Side, my home basketball court was the GOAT. After basketball player, they did a documentary on him, Earl Manigault, right? This is 97, 98 in Amsterdam. But that was Rocksteady Park, the Rocksteady crew. Shout out to Crazy Legs, Alex, everybody, Curious George, the whole crew, all right? Tony Greer, just Kelvin, Pete, like all the cats, Gary Gnu. So my neighborhood was a big part. Shout out to my boy Jason, right? Electric boogie, breakdancing, b-boying, the graffiti, okay? These are the pillars of hip hop. The DJ, the MC, EMCEE, the smooth operator operating correctly, right? Rakim broke it down for you. The MC, you guys, is the master of ceremonies, right? You grab the microphone and you control the crowd in the room, okay? Shout out to Grandmaster Caz, Spoonie G, Grand Wizard Theodore, Pebbly Pooh, Latifah, MC Light, Antoinette, all right? Roxanne Shante, MC Light, Lauryn Hill, you know what I mean? This is all before, Little Kim, Foxy Brown. The female MCs, yo-yo. But, this comes from the roots of Jamaica, right? The roots of Africa and the drum. You rhyme for a reason, the spoken word. Universal law, the word is life. You understand? So, hip hop is powerful. And I remember telling my boys in the late 80s, early 90s, hip hop will run the world. It's going to be everywhere. TV, marketing, commercials, movies. 85% of commercials nowadays, hip hop music or hip hop vernacular, hip hop clothing, hip hop influence. Because it's the culture of the Black inner city and Latino youth from New York and the world and America that has spread all over the world. And you even see that with Jupiter Aquarius in the 12th house in the birth chart. Okay, that Capricorn moon in the 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, astrology, the internet is powerful. Hip hop is powerful. Now it's also, going through some negative times where it's not the same in terms of how the pillars started it and did it. Even think about Sugar Hill Gang, 1979 was the first big hip hop rap single. And that's in the 6th house in annual perfection, right, of the Leo, Sun, and Mercury. Oh, I'm going in tonight. I'm going in, all right? So my sidekick will be here soon, and we'll get to the birth chizzy and start breaking things down. You guys, you know what? I want you to share in here any of your favorite hip-hop memories, concerts, or your favorite MC. What's your top 5? Are you old school? You like Melly Mel, LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Karis One, Rakim, Spoonie G, right? Houdini, Coogee Rap, Curtis Blow, Aaliyah. And so peep this, right? DJ Kool Herc and African Bambaataa are 1 day apart, April 16th and 17th, and they're both Aries the Ram. Grandmaster Flash is a Capricorn. Okay, Melly Mel is a Taurus, May, I think, 16th. Curtis Blow, a Leo. Kool Moe Dee, a Leo. Fat Joe, Karis One, Leos. Right? Some of the illest MCs, Rakim, Logic, J. Cole, Aquarius. Method Man, Common, Pisces. It's a Pisces ascendant. Because what is hip hop? Film, photography, and it can morph and shapeshift like the Pisces energy. The Pisces rising, creativity, imagination, illusion, right? The breakdancing, the illusion, the graffiti. The chart is dope. Hip hop is dope. See, your boy got his hair up and stuff, rocking a shout out to Busta Rhymes, Busta and Biggie are on that cusp of energy, the Taurus Gemini cusp. You know, Biggie's a 0 degrees Gemini, Tupac, Andre 3000, all the Gemini MCs. You got a ton of Libra MCs, Black Thought, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Lil Wayne, Wheezy. Coogee Rap's a Cancer. Nas, Dougie Fresh, Ludacris, Exhibit, Virgos in the 7th house. Nikki D. It's hip hop, y'all. It's hip hop. All right. So, I'm crazy excited. And, this is just my first love. Growing up in New York, DJ Red Alert, right? Kid Capri. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on 98? Chuck Chill Out. You understand? Live, suckers. Chuck Chill Out and Mr. Magic on BLS 107.5. I've got a trunk of hip hop tapes in my closet with crazy songs. And then like you talk about like later on in the early 90s when you had WKCR, Stretch Armstrong and Bobbito. Shout out to Bobbito, you know what I'm saying? Garcia, yeah. So, you talking to an OG, you talking to a hip hop historian, someone who loves hip hop. Me and Big Daddy Kane got the same birthday, those Virgo MCs, we get down. So you guys can share, who you think are the best MCs by sign. LL Cool J, he's a Capricorn, or, even just your favorite, your top 5, you know what I mean? So there's so much to talk about, but I also want you to understand. So I was at one of the first meetings for the Temple of Hip Hop, and Karis One broke it down, in terms of the culture and protecting it and owning it, right? We need a museum because MCs are like Jedis. They swing the swords verbally, and they're true poets. That's why I said in my rhyme, right? What do you know? Hip hop is crazily advanced poetry. Fluently is flown in like water, mentally reshaping you just like the new world order. So what's the cause and effect? When I write some good lyrics, it's the sound that you check. No disrespect, but I question your intellect thinking words don't matter because they spill too fast. Well, you need a listening class because the quality MC, son, will always amaze your ass. And every word that I write has seen the universe twice. And I travel the planets making sure that I'm nice. So open up your ears, that's my advice, because this price is right. And there are no wheels on this fortune. Words and whammies will make you press your luck. Rather flow for my mammy, forget about a Grammy. Step back and catch this verbal jammy, because these skills is real, and it's time you learn the deal. What do you know? Okay. So, but I was saying hip hop, there's no dash, no hyphen. Hip hop is HIPHOP, one word together, unified. That dash separates it. So even when you do your hashtag on Instagram, you can't, Twitter, it takes it. But hip hop, it puts the hyphen, right? The dash in between. It's not supposed to be there. HIPHOP. MCEMCEE. All right. So we're going to get to the chart in a second. Waiting for my trusted sidekick. Okay. Well, come sit down. She's here to break it down. And she's from New York, but she grew up in Cali. So she's got a different viewpoint of West Coast and hip hop like that too.
I was going to come in with.
I know, but we just can't do that.
I understand.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. Well, I was gonna show my jacket.
There you go.
There we go.
This is hip hop.
Let's see right here.
Right. Chuck D used to babysit her. She'll tell you the story.
Okay. And
one of the greatest MCs ever.
And anyways, I'm gonna sit down.
That's hip hop history right there.
That's it. So.
But tell them how you got that.
Well,
the Public Enemy jacket.
Yeah. So.
Probably the greatest group in hip hop history.
Yeah, they are. They are one of the best groups ever. So my father and Chuck D's father were best friends. and
Long Island.
from Long Island. That's where I'm originally from, and St. Paul Church on Long Island in Freeport, and their very first Public Enemy's very first concert when Chuck D and Flavor Flav were in, like, I think 8th grade, where it was in the church basement, maybe even younger than that.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so my dad helped set up the rectory. It was in the rectory across the street in the basement. Was one of their very first concerts, and flash forward as they were preparing to this was made for the what was this, the Fight the Power, not the Fight the Power album, the next really big album that they did. But anyways,
After It Takes the Nations a Million.
Yes, that one. And so they were designing jackets for their concerts, for their tours and stuff. And this was a sample jacket. And they decided ultimately not to make it with the green. And they made, I think, 5 of these.
Wow.
And so I ended up getting one of the samples and had my name put on it.
She could sell it on eBay, but she shouldn't sell it with her name on it.
We got the Public Enemy.
That's hip hop.
This is one of my cherished jackets.
Yes.
Anyways, so.
But it's too hot in Arizona to wear.
It is. Well, no. I mean, I can wear it a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
I pull it out every once in a while.
But it's fitting that they had the song "Shut Them Down," right? And then the song "By the Time I Get to Arizona," because Arizona was one of the last states, Mississippi and Arizona, to celebrate the holiday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So PE did the song "By the Time I Get to Arizona." Yeah, and I remember that in college, never thinking that I'd ever live in Arizona, but that's a whole other conversation. But shout out to Chuck D, Flavor Flav, Professor Griff,
yes,
who we've both met, but you met him recently.
So I saw him at an event a few years back where I was selling, and he bought some of my last body care brand. And it was so funny. I remember when my father he was like, "You got to hear this new guy," and I was like, "Who?" And he was like, Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. It was like before he even changed his name, and he was just doing mixtapes. And my dad gave me a mixtape for Biggie, like back before he really blew up and everything. And we'd get mixtapes in the city from DJ Clark Kent and
oh my God,
people like
SNS, Ron G, Kid Capri, DJ Clark Kent. Like, yo, there was so many dope DJs. DJ Craig G, shout out to all of y'all. Red Alert, the pioneer, one of the greatest DJs ever. So hip hop, man, it's a dear love to me. But let's go to the Chizzy, to the chat.
Well, we got Danny here. Hey, Danny.
Danny's
it's been a while
head.
since I've seen you.
He's a hip hop head.
We have Miss Evelyn here, and
What's
I'm
up,
so
Ev?
happy to see her as well. And she's saying that she was a fan of Run DMC and
Yes.
LL Cool J.
Yes, Queens.
They
Queens
were
is
from
in the
her,
house.
Childhood neighborhood.
That's right, Ev.
Yeah, see, all of us who are from the East Coast, New York area, we grew up around a lot of these people. It's not uncommon and they were just regular folks, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's so cool about it, is it was just regular people who went on to shape this whole culture and world, you know what I mean? Which is really amazing. Chuck D, in addition to being obviously a hip hop icon and like one of the pioneers, he is like incredibly intelligent. He's like
well-read, scholar.
But an architect. He went to school for architecture, and his walls had these big, gorgeous pictures that were drawn architecture buildings, and just he was amazing. You know what I mean? And his parents were equally proud of him for that. And I think somewhere in there's a part of them that they maybe didn't wish he did that instead, but I'm sure they would have loved to see him go that way. I mean, he's extremely intelligent.
Yeah. So. One of my favorite MCs, Chuck D. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Come on down. All right. Who else?
LL still dines at Applebee's at the Green Acres. Oh, shut up.
Green Acres? God. What?
Oh, Green Acres in Valley Stream, my mall. Get out of here. I fell down. That's where I fell down the escalator.
Oh, no.
In the middle of the mall. I was my foot, and I still to this day can't get on an escalator without getting scared.
Nah, she normally grabs on to me.
I do.
And props to LL, right? One of the pioneers. And think about so amazing. And I'm gonna show you this in the chart. So many of the MCs, from Will Smith to LL to Ice Cube to Queen Latifah, right, to Common, to so many have gone from the rhyming to the acting, right? Even the RZA, Busta Rhymes, they now have acting careers, and so it's so amazing because and Tupac, one of the best actors, and MCs, but it's like when you go into that booth, you become like a character. Even Lauryn Hill, right, a great actress as well. But like you morph and you like perform and you're on the microphone. So being an MC, it's the natural transition. And I remember at the time, so many people were like, oh my God, they don't take acting classes or they can't do that. And they proved them wrong. Yes, we can do anything. Hip hop culture can do anything. And we have done it all. All right. Don't ever put somebody in a box and try to limit them. You have no idea of the talent.
Well, I mean, but what is performing? I mean, there's different mediums, obviously, but I'm just saying at
the time, people used to say, they can't do this. And,
I understand that, but I mean, when you think about it,
no, it was natural.
You're getting up and you're moving an entire stadium of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have something ability to connect.
That's right.
But it's amazing to see how this music has changed the world and has just become so mainstream. And so Evelyn actually saw LL at Applebee's.
Okay.
And
wow, that's crazy.
I don't know if she's laughing at me falling down the stairs or she's laughing at the fact that LL eats Applebee's because
maybe both.
LL, come on now, man. We all know Applebee's is not the most healthy.
Yeah.
I guess he just does that to kind of keep that low pro and be one with the people. Because I would look at him and think that he eats a little healthier than that.
I think he probably does.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it, baby. Let's get to it.
So I'm going to get to the chart in a minute. Danny, you want to share like maybe your top 3 MCs or anybody else? I mean, I'm going to tell you guys, for me, I'm kind of always going to stick to my old school, but I've switched my top 5. But I think over the years, I've been so impressed with the rhymes of Black Thought from the Roots, and I've seen them perform live multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I just think, for me, MCing is about you rhyme for a reason and the quality of the lyrics, right? From the message of Melly Mel and Grandmaster Flash Furious 5, lyrics were so important in terms of the storytelling. And you think of amazing writers and storytellers like Coogee Rap and Slick Rick that would take you on these like stories, and you felt like you were like going through a cinematic movie with their rhymes and lyrics. Wu-Tang was so good at that as well. And same with Snoop Dogg on his first album, right? So for me, I am always going to stick to KRS-One, Rakim, Nas, Black Thought, Jay-Z. I think Tupac and Biggie, I mean, obviously Biggie didn't have enough work for me. Tupac had a lot, but I thought he was a better actor. Don't get me wrong, I think he was a great MC, but those are my top 5, okay?
So Danny, or Dan, you changed it. It's Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Not
Dan the man.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so anyway, sorry. He's in the Rakim, KRS, Biggie, and Nas.
Yeah.
And Evelyn said that they sat LL right next to her and her son. What year was this? I'm curious.
Wow.
And it's hard for me in terms of having a favorite. But for me, obviously, Public Enemy, because there is that connection. They're always very near and dear. And like all the classics. I mean, I love all the people that I really grew up with. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was a big NWA girl because while I am from New York, I was bi-coastal. My parents divorced, so I spent a lot of time in California. So for me, while everybody was doing like the East Coast stuff, I was into NWA and Too Short and all of that. And yes, I cursed up a storm. And my mom, like when I think about the fact that my mom allowed me to blast my Too Short with all the curse words in her little car.
She was progressive.
And I was like, and I remember, I think about how smart mouth my son is now. And I remember being like, I might have been. And I remember being like, yo, Mom, what's up? We gotta turn the bass up in this thing. And I would like turn the bass all the way up and turn the treble down.
And you guys have seen her mom, 0 Degrees Aquarius, little tiny short white lady.
And I'm like, your car sucks. We need to get some real bass up in here, Mom. What's the deal? You know.
Now, see, my mom, I gotta say, my mom. Okay, so my mom, I think seriously, her favorite hip hop song that I ever saw her really get down to and dance to, she loved is "Getting Hot in Here" by Nelly. She literally loved that. Now I know she enjoyed Run DMC and LL Cool J. She really liked Latifah, and she appreciated MC Lyte and Lauryn Hill. But I never saw my mom get up and dance until she heard Nelly is getting hot in here. Take off all your clothes. I was like, Mom, it's a hot. She loved. Oh my God, it makes me crack up just thinking about it because she loved it. She just,
you know
she
what
loved
is so funny is Elijah, our oldest son. I was putting him down to bed one night, and I totally thought he was asleep in some music award show, Grammys or something, and he was, or music, whatever awards were playing, and I totally thought he was asleep. He had been asleep, and that song came on, and you know that part where he goes, and a little bit of, he's totally like acting like he's asleep, and then all of a sudden it got to that part, and he jumped up from the blanket, and he goes, and then went back down. And I was so like, cute. Oh my God.
That's our 23-year-old. That's something. And even one of our 10-year-old twins,
it
Jackson.
It was pronounced her. Jovanka said it was pronounced her.
What was pronounced her?
I don't know. Tell us more, Jovanka.
What's pronounced her?
Hello.
What's up, Jovanka? Who's your favorite hip hop MC? You know? So I Pharrell.
Okay, so we're going
from the Neptunes. Jackson.
Hot in here. Oh, it's getting hot in her.
Her.
Okay.
Okay.
Hot in her.
Yeah,
yep,
I know.
Got you,
Jovanka. Yes.
Okay. She's putting the down south. And actually, he's from St. Louis.
Yes, he is from St. Louis.
Right, so you got all these different things. It's getting hot in her.
St. Lunatics, yeah. Mm-hmm. And shout out to everybody, right? Down south, from Goody Mob to Outkast, Luke with his music, all that different stuff. So anyway, one of my twins, one of his first words was from Pharrell's song "Happy." After watching the Grammys, we're putting on his diaper.
Jovanka loves Busta.
Oh yes,
he's awesome.
That's why I put my hair up tonight, right? For Busta. Yeah.
Now he just did an album here. A couple years ago, and I was like listening to that.
That's good. Busta, and he just got honored at the BET Awards this year. Mm-hmm. Busta's a legend.
His album from a few years ago, man,
it was deep, yeah.
Yeah, he's like really calling out a lot of stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, Busta brings
Run
it.
DMC.
Love Run DMC. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's great, and I just...
We grew up at the best time ever.
Yeah, I mean, all you guys on here, you guys are all around our age, so we all listen to the same stuff growing up. And let me tell you, Houdini, Friends... How many of us have them? You know what I'm saying? I love and it's so funny, if you do like greatest hits and think about the Fat Boys and Run DMC, those groups had song after song after song, and so good. I mean, just
and they actually told a story.
Yeah,
Slick Rick, had like a meaning.
Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh.
I mean, yeah.
Lottie Dottie.
They loved to party.
So I mean. It's so sad, I think, for us who really love hip hop.
Remember Teenage Love?
Don't hurt me again.
Don't
Slick Rick was
my
God, a children's story. Yeah. So you know what I mean, but it's not the same, and everything is. And don't get me wrong, let's be real, us OGs. Yes, there was cursing. Yes, there was lyrics about sex and partying. But there was still, especially until, and I'm going to show you the Chiron one, but until 91, 92, 93, there was so much conscious hip hop and positive. And it starts with the message from Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and the Furious Five, right? And remember, Poor Righteous Teachers, Boogie Down Productions, X-Clan, all right? Paris, Public Enemy, the DOC, right? Who else was so deep? There was so
There was
many.
a lot. Well, did you say Paris already?
I said Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were a lot
There were
of.
so, but I
of
love
course-
Poor Righteous Teachers.
Mhm.
I mean, there were so many artists
I mean,
who were really giving
even
you
like,
conscious.
Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like that was the best. I mean, I didn't. He went to way more concerts than I did, but I was able to see the Fugees at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and that's a small club.
They were dope.
We're standing room only with it's good. Like that was an amazing concert, and it felt like just it was really, really awesome to see them in such a small venue.
Yeah. And my favorite groups too: Tribe Called Quest,
Mhm.
De La Soul, Nice and Smooth, EPMD. Two MCs in each group that really just ripped it and just so dope.
And when the Roots came, I had a friend when I was living in San Francisco. The Roots came, and Mike, God, it's so bad. I can't remember his name, but he performed with the Roots, and so we got to go see them at a small little club in San Francisco. And
the Roots are amazing live.
Riding in the back of a van.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the Roots live, Black Dot and
hey, Audie Rose.
What's up, Audie Rose? We're honoring hip hop, and also you guys, just in terms of like, I think of the fun, you know what I mean? You saw the fun with like Das Effects and Nice and Smooth and different groups that were like just pure fun, even Outkast, so much fun, and I think right now, and it seems like it started to go downhill since after Tupac and Biggie died and mid to late 90s, when neo soul was starting to pop off, things started to change. And then after the 2000s, and I don't know what the right year is to label it, but hip hop started to really diminish. And then everything became kind of just super ignorant, super negative, very low vibrational frequency. And right now what's going on is definitely not hip hop, but it's in a different place. But you know what? It's going to get better. I'm optimistic. And there are still people like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Dave East, underground artists who are really spitting intelligent lyrics and dope rhymes, Logic, who are still bringing pure hip hop, Wale in DC. You know what I mean? So there's always hope, and there's always young kids doing, quality stuff. But I think now you got to go independent and underground to really find people who are still really doing it,
Yeah.
and not the mumble rap crap.
So, Audie Rose was talking about Pittsburgh is still doing conscious work.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Bose Jr. 90s was the rise of the gangster rap. Absolutely. And that is
I'm going to show that. I'm going to show you that in the chart. But remember, the record labels got together with the owners of the prisons, and they started to promote the gangster rap and all the conscious rap. They stopped playing it on the radio. This was done on purpose, and it increased the crime rates.
Exactly.
Music has that power.
It's so crazy. So Audie Rose's husband is here. Hey, husband, how are you?
What up, Audie Rose's husband? What's up, bro?
But what's crazy about it is just recently, because Evelyn was saying how she doesn't like the hip hop these days. And
no,
I hate to say it, neither do I. And it's so strange because if you had ever asked me if there would ever come a time that I wasn't going to be completely sold out for hip hop, I could not foresee that day, and it's here. Yeah. But what's crazy is that I was just saying to somebody, maybe even my kids or something the other day, that back in the day when I used to listen to NWA and Eazy-E and all of the gangster rap and Two Live Crew and Dolores C. Tucker and all those people who it was Dolores C. Tucker?
Dolores C. Tucker.
Who were taking these
the CDs
people,
and burning them and breaking them,
burning them, and
these lyrics are profane.
And talking about how lyrics really impact people. I was like, that's not true. That's not gonna make me do anything bad. And here I am now with a mom, and I'm
when you're an adult, you realize the lyrics do matter.
I realize now as I'm going through my spiritual evolution, and I've been on this path for a while, but
lyrics
it does. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. It may have been, maybe they could have framed it differently. I think it did obviously have a racial component to why they were attacking it the way that they did, because this is not just, there's a lot of music that has some negative stuff in it.
Yeah.
But rap was for the first time very overt, and I lived in Los Angeles and at least half my life.
Oh, shout out to Exhibit, the Alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to, there's so many dope groups. I feel like, not to name different people, it's almost like and mad props to Mobb Deep, R.I.P., Prodigy. Who else? Little guys from Lord Chief Rocker, #1 Chief Rocker. Oh my God. The Lords of the Underground. Oh my God. Chub Rock, one of the illest.
1990, Chub Rock jumps upon the scene.
And don't forget Gangstar, Guru, R.I.P. Guru, Heavy D.
So many. We've got Kenneth Bose is now listening to jazz.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. I listen to so many things.
Who do you like?
But who are your top 5 MCs?
Are you going more,
jazz-wise.
Jazz-wise. Who do you listen to? Are you more
Charlie
like
Parker,
a Coltrane person?
Thelonious Monk? Or you like, Marcellus?
Oh, he did see Chubb live.
Yeah, Chub Rock was dope, yo. Gangstar, I met Guru, real cool dude. I met, shout out to Boot Camp Click, Helter Skelter, Buckshot Shorty, OC. These are MCs that I, chilled with, met. You know what I mean?
Herbie Hancock. Okay.
Herbie Hancock, yeah, he's an OG.
Isn't it amazing? Like, do you remember that
Donald Byrd, my mother's good friend, used to date Donald Byrd, but Herbie Hancock was no joke, yeah. But remember when Guru did Jazzmatazz?
Miles Davis.
Love Miles Davis, yeah. Nah, jazz is always... We used to play jazz, to her belly.
Chick Corea.
Chick Corea, when my son was in the womb. And
Micaiah McCraven.
I've heard of that name before. Okay, I don't know. I have to check that out. But thank you for sharing. But tell me, with this hip hop, who's your favorite MCs? You might not like it now, but back in the days you did. Who were your favorite MCs? Put some people down, and then we're gonna get ready to go to the chart.
Donald Byrd.
Donald Byrd was dope. Yeah, my mom's good friend was dating him. Yeah, Donald Byrd, definitely. But I love when Guru did Jazzmatazz and Diggable Planets and different MCs that infuse jazz with hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's Diggable Planets was dope. So let's go to the Chizzy, to the screen share. Bring that up, and we are gonna jump in because I got some stuff for you. So there's the birth Chizzy, and look at this. I get chills every time you bring up a chart. Makes me smile. All right. So remember I told you it's the Pisces rising. Okay. So that makes Jupiter the chart ruler, guys. And it's fitting that Pisces is the rising sign, right? You think about like Common, right? That song, I Used to Love Her, talking about hip hop, but that's on the ascendant, right? That's so funny. And then opposing is the Virgo. And I think about Nas, right? Because this is the other half. And remember, Nas had the album and the song too, Hip Hop is Dead, right? And that was in the early 2000s when he did Black Republicans with Jay-Z. So we'll get back to that. But so you look at the chart ruler and you find Jupiter. Well, Jupiter's in Aquarius in the 12th house, but this is expansion of the culture, right? To foreign lands, import, export. The biggest export that America has, you guys, is Black music, hip hop. That's the biggest export, okay? So that's why it's important for people to try to get their masters and stuff like that, because nothing sells worldwide. Think about like Whitney Houston. That's why, R.I.P. Whitney, because she wanted to do an audit and get her masters and stuff like that. But that's what you see artists fight for. And this is the power of hip hop music. Jupiter is the guru, the shaman, the beliefs, the wisdom, the philosophies. KRS-One, my philosophy, right? And so my buddy, shout out to Smokey Fontaine, right? He worked for a bunch of different places. Now he's at Apple, but he was, doing stuff with hip hop magazines and stuff, right? With Vibe and different things. But his father helped take Zulu Nation, right? We used to be down with Zulu growing up, helped take Africa Bambaataa and Zulu Nation to London, England. Okay? Yeah, I got some stuff for you tonight, some hip hop history. Your boy's well connected. So that's Jupiter and Aquarius. Okay? And what's Aquarius? Innovative, futuristic. That's hip hop. It's always been cutting edge, pushing the envelope, right? The whole crew of Wu-Tang, and you think of people like Logic or J. Cole, or people who came in differently, like Busta Rhymes, rah, 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 and, Lauryn Hill, and getting the first hip hop album of the year Grammy. Did y'all realize that? She won the first hip hop album Grammy. It was Lauryn Hill. Yeah. So that's really fascinating to see this Jupiter here. But before we get to the Leo sun in the 6th house, I want to talk about this Capricorn moon, because what people don't understand, this Capricorn moon in the 11th house, it is in the lunar mansion of Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. So you flavor it by looking at the moon, Saturn, Mars mix in the 11th house. And it's all about the networking, the assertive drive and energy for writing and expansion. And it's opposing the 5th house of kids. So this Capricorn moon illuminates the 5th house, saying that it would have creative children. And that's what hip hop has done. The younger brothers, like my age, right? Because Bambaataa and all them guys, they're in their 60s. KRS-One, they're all like 5 years older than me, right? They're like 58, 59. Right, but Bambaataa and DJ Kool Herc, they're born in 57 and 58. So, right, so this is like really speaking to the generations of hip hop. Now that hip hop's 50, it's got like grandchildren, right? But so you look at that 5th house opposing it, right? Plus you have the North Node there, right? So this tells you that hip hop itself, its destiny is to build structures and to connect in big, the 11th house is the large arenas, and reach its hopes, dreams, and wishes of wealth and money. Hip hop is very, very powerful financially. And 11th house, you guys, is astrology, UFOs, aliens, the internet, philanthropic work, nonprofits. People have nonprofits. Hip hop classes are taught in universities. Nas has taught classes, other people. The writer Michael Eric Dyson, right, who's written books, and people have written big books about hip hop and taught it at Harvard and different schools.
He actually was a teacher of mine when I went to school in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you see, so this is the Capricorn North Node. And what I want to show you as we go to the 6th house, right, and we're looking at the chart. But so remember, you start the annual perfections, right? First house is 0, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108, 120. Okay. So that's 1973, the Bronx, Sedgwick Avenue, right? August 11th, hip hop's birthday. Well, 79, the first big commercial hit, right? Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. 6 years later, takes us to the 6th house, where it's illuminated, okay, in Leo. So 1979, Leo and Mercury, the sun, Vesta and Mercury, this was when Sugar Hill Gang was released. Now, this Leo sun at 19 degrees, that is a Venus lunar mansion. And it's all about creativity, money, sex. That's definitely hip hop. Leo, the sun, it's from the heart, the culture. And what the 6th house represents, being of service to what? The underprivileged people, the people in the streets. This is the hard work, your daily routine, where you're an adult. That's where the sun is at, right? And Leo is the entertainer or the politician. So, but that's what hip hop was. Hip hop was this, like what Tupac say, he's like the CNN of the streets, telling the stories that people didn't want to hear, but they were rhyming about, like Melly Mel, the Message, and we'll get to that in the 10th house of Sagittarius, right? Rhyming about what's happening in the inner cities, the reporting, NWA, police brutality, right? Ice-T. Shout out to Ice-T. I worked with him and met him. But you understand? So that's what this Leo sun, 19 degrees, and don't get me wrong, with this Venus lunar mansion to the Leo sun, it's very flashy. It's very about the pleasure, the beauty, the jewelries, right? Leo, the sun, what's the element for it, right? It's gold. The sun is gold. What'd you see on Eric B. and Rakim paid in full? Rakim had the dookie gold ropes. Rappers used to always have the big gold chains, right? Before the ice and the diamonds, it was always about the gold, right? You think about the different movies, Beat Street, Breaking, Wild Style, CB4, all these different hip hop movies. So this is really fascinating. And this Mercury here, you guys, to really, like give you some more insight about this. Where's this thing at? Here we go. The Mercury at 0 degrees, that is, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The lunar mansion. South Node. Okay. So in Aries, 0 to 13, Leo, 0 to 13, Sag, 0 to 13, the lunar mansion, because they repeat after every 9. And the last one is Mercury, but it goes from the South Node to Mercury. So the Mercury in Leo is what? Little flashy, little arrogant, wants the spotlight. It's about being dynamic and dramatic and that swag, the fixed fire sign, right? South Node, it's kind of like, I've already been doing this, right? It relates to the ancestors, back from the triangle trade, back to the motherland, Africa, the drums. We rhyme for a reason, right? This is why the flow, the poetry, right? Hip hop has advanced poetry. That's literally the 0 degrees Mercury. So the South Node is the lunar mansion there. And it's kind of explosive, like a suicide bomber, right? You remember the interview when Tupac was talking about, like, after a while, things change. When we see a room and a buffet and everybody's eating all this food and we're knocking on the door, can you let us in? And everybody ignores us. And then we're like, hey, can you please let us in so we could get a meal? And they get ignored. He said, after a while, the lyrics will change. And it'll be like, yo, I'm coming through the door with the 4-4, shoot you in the eye. You see, it changes because it's the bellies are hungry, right? The kids in the streets were like, yo, the crack epidemic, cocaine from the 70s. And what DJ Kool Herc was doing was rebelling against disco music. He was like, I'm not down with that disco, right? So he would throw these block parties. And, he said at the party, it was like 50, 60 people in this little hole in the wall little spot up in the Bronx. It was like 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. So that's the pillar of hip hop culture. And to rock on that break beat, right? And have the 2 records, right? 2 of the same records. Nobody was rocking that. And then don't get me wrong, the scratching, that was Grandmaster Flash. He took it from DJ Kool Herc and took it to another level. And it was from an accident when his mother came in the room. I don't know if you guys heard the story, right? When the mother came in the room and she was like, are you playing that music? And then he hit the thing and the needle, and then it started like kind of scratching. And then he was like, wait a minute. And then he started doing that and scratching the records. And then boom, cutting and scratching, cutting and scratching. But DJ Kool Herc would just play the break beats. And then when that would finish, then he'd go to another record, break beat. So let's go to this second house, you guys. So what's so fascinating about this, right? The second house, how you earn money, family, your savings, your assets, your material items, your food and your speech, the family. You got Mars here in Aries and the Chiron moon. So what's 20? 1993. That's when things started to change. No more promotion of the conscious hip hop. BDP, Public Enemy, X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, they started to go all downhill. And then what got promoted? Dr. Dre, The Chronic came out the end of 92. All 93, it dominated. It dominated for 2 years. Snoop in 94. Nas, Queensbridge, kind of like gangster stuff. Then Diddy leaves Howard, comes to New York, right? Throwing a bunch of different parties where people are dying and getting trampled and stuff. But then he comes out with Craig Mack and Biggie. But then with that's when things start to get like all flossing and all materialistic and Christian Dior and this and that and the money and the champagne and this and that. And that's where Wu-Tang kind of came to try to restore hip hop with just the skills and the lyrics, right? With that hip hop culture. Because see, growing up in New York, and Danny and Evelyn would tell you, like Saturdays, we would watch the karate flicks. That's where Wu-Tang got that whole stuff from. Shaolin, Wu-Tang, what style? Because they tried to come out before, but it was just a jizza. And he was under a different name and it wasn't having success. And then they came back out with all the MCs and then the birth of Wu-Tang in 94. So 94 was a big year, but this is 93, the Chiron moon. in the house of speech. Aries is what? Assertive, aggressive. Mars, the cursing, the violence. That was the gangster rap, right? Emotional, physical, spiritual wounds to the culture, to hip hop. Isn't that something, y'all? That's crazy to me. When I saw that, I was like, holy berserkowitz. And that's when the industry and everything started to change. That was the shift. But like I tell you about Mars in the second house, especially in Aries, it's very assertive and aggressive with the speech and the cursing and the violence, you know? And we can't lie. That's been a part of hip hop, you know? I mean, not so much in the beginning, because when you had the Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, and the Message, Melly Mel was telling you what's going on in the streets, what the police are doing, what's happening in the inner cities. But then it stepped up later on in 90, 91, 92, right? With the NWA and all the stuff. And it started to shift. And then it started to spread to the different states and different countries. And things started to change when it left New York, you know. Now, I'm going to say it shouldn't have left New York because I'm biased, but you know what I mean? Everybody's got to do their version of hip hop, you know. But it sort of got bastardized by the record labels, you know. So I'm trying to think, what's another really fascinating placement? So I like this Gemini, and Rigel is like showing like through your writing ability, fourth house. And Gemini is literally, right, as the hip hop culture, everybody with their composition book, writing their rhymes in their home or in the train or in their, you know, in their homeland, their hood, rhyming about their hood. That's Gemini fourth house. Okay. This fifth house with this Saturn and the South Node, this is kind of fascinating, okay? Because one thing you could say the fifth house is creativity, speculative gains, past life karmas, high school, college, ancient history, right? Kool Herc was 18 years old, y'all. He was 18 in 73, throwing this party and starting this culture, and all these guys were young. It was always the creativity of what? The youth. The Cancer South Node, the Saturn, the youth were very disciplined in their self-expression, fifth house, from their heart, talking about their home, right? Everybody rhymed about their neighborhood, what they experienced, what they saw, what they grew up, right? So that's how it started to happen when then California was doing it, right? Oakland was doing it. Florida was doing it. Atlanta was doing it. Everybody, you know, St. Louis, all these places, they were rhyming about their hood, right? Remember? The bridge is over. The bridge is over, right? Karis One, who got dissed by Mr. Magic, and then he took out MC Shan and battled and you know, basically went after all of, you know, the Juice Crew, right? Craig G, Master Ace, Big Daddy Kane, Roxanne Shante, Mr. Magic, MC Shan. Right? So that is so much. And this is what people don't understand. That Saturn speaks to what it takes to be an MC. It takes discipline of your verbal skills and self-expression, right? Now, you don't see that now because people are just like talking and not even rhyming and mumbling. But when you listen to a real MC, when you listen to Rakim, when you listen to Karis One, even J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, you realize that people have an expertise and a skill. When we were growing up, Dan, you can tell him, not everybody could rhyme. You couldn't even grab a microphone or get on stage if you didn't have skills and couldn't have the swag and personality to rock and move the crowd. Cats would smack you or punch you or be like, yo, boo you off, right? There was no like, oh, everybody gets a chance. No. These were Jedis. We got skills and abilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't for everybody. You had to be able to be the master of ceremonies. You want to say something? Go ahead. Okay. So, so I want to show you this. This is really fascinating, you guys. And this is getting into the, sorry, having issues with my mouse, the 10th house, Sagittarius, the MC, right? So that's the public image, the career, the legacy, the father. Hip hop started off sharing its wisdom, its beliefs, its philosophies. I think about KRS-One, My Philosophy, Poetry, Elementary, right? His first album, Criminal Minded. Sagittarius is the weapon, the god of war, but it's the teacher preacher. But what's fascinating, the Neptune, right? This is generational. But what you have here is this is annual perfection year number 9. 1982, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five released the message. Broken glass everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Melly Mel just had us a diss record recently battling and dissing Eminem. So shout out to Melly Mel. He's a legend, right? Eminem, amazing. Detroit, right? See, rhyming about your hometown. This is the Cancer South Node Saturn. So, but this is that year, right? And Melly Mel was talking about the law and order, the disrespect in the streets, right? The legacy, what's happening. That song, if you go back and listen to it, that song is deep, y'all. The message is deep. Melly Mel, the Furious Five, they were bringing it, okay? And what's the Neptune and Sag? Hip hop, right? It was evolving from, the music, whether it was the jazz or the gospel or the soul, right? Neptune, it came out of like, okay, no, we're not trying to be all buttoned up and in the church and choir boys. Hip hop was of the streets. Neptune and Sagittarius, how did it spiritually evolve? Because it was about expansion and speaking the truth. No more lies. What's the truth? There's crack in the streets. People can't get jobs. Broken glass everywhere in the streets in the Bronx. Bronx was all burnt down, right? The boogie down Bronx. That's what that is. Neptune was like taking away that illusion and showing you the reality, the rawness, the lawlessness. Okay? This chart is heavy, and it looks like it's about to even get heavier, right? So this is interesting. Nothing really here in Scorpio, but it's the beliefs and the philosophies, the 9th house, the wisdom, the father's teachings, right? Getting into investigating the truth. Right? Hip hop has always been like, right? Remember Rodney King, LL Cool J, Ice Cube, right? That album talking about the cops and how they did him wrong. Hip hop has always talked about KRS-One, beef, breaking down beef and the meat industry and the toxins and poisons in it. Way back in the days, Edutainment, one of my favorite albums. Boogie Down Productions, that came out in, I think, 91. Okay. And you do have the Pallas Athena here. It's how you deal with problems or dilemmas. This is the goddess of war, Pallas Athena. And it's also how you would solve issues or deal with issues with your father too. Right? That Scorpio was like, Dad, wait a minute. Y'all stopped fighting with the civil rights and stuff like that. And y'all didn't do anything. You didn't continue Dr. King's dream. Well, hip hop is like going to come in and speak the truth about what's effed up about this society and this culture and the plight of Black people. That's right there. And then look at this Libra, 8th house, right? The Uranus, the part of fortune, the Pluto, right? This is the house of the money, power, sex, secret societies, occult knowledge, CIA, FBI, the government, right? The rappers, remember Ice-T, cop killer? And he had issues. The government was like, following around Tupac, stuff like that. Cops. Uranus, Pluto, Libra. This is Libra, relationships, 8th house, psychology, sudden events, other people's money. So hip hop had that power, digging up the secrets of this country and this nation, speaking the truth. That's what Pluto does, right? Pluto's doing that right now, retrograde in Capricorn. It's bringing up all the secrets of the power structures and the systems. Well, Pluto and Libra, the relationships, the relationship with hip hop and the people of the streets, the people in the Bronx, the people in the cities, right? The Moors in this land, right? The mistreatment. That's the Pluto 8th house. The Uranus is the spiritual awakening, the freedom, the liberation. These cats, you know how many people have gotten paid off of hip hop? Millions. Families, wealthy, rich, successful. I had a client who, and I hope she watches this, she represented a hip hop artist. She did pub PR work for him and stuff back in the days. I think it was a Grandmaster Caz, right? Shout out to her. God, I can't remember her name right now. She was dope. But you know what I mean? Like, this is, Uranus is about that freedom and liberation, breaking social norms, fracturing structures and systems. Hip hop was like, yeah, I'm gonna do television. Will Smith, groundbreaking, right? The Fresh Prince, we all grew up watching it. Will Smith is an MC first, before he's an actor. Latifah's on TV every night. LL Cool J been on what? NICSI or whatever for like 10 years, right? You know what I mean? All the movies. Ice Cube had the contract with Disney.
Yeah, you know, Ice Cube to me is the biggest transformation.
Yeah, that's huge what he did, right?
But you know, like, and he just kind of shows how you grow and you change as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I believe he was just as authentic back in the day as when he was doing those family related type shows to the way he's carrying himself now.
Yeah, love Ice Cube. And right now, just so you know, right, remember 48 is here. So when we get to 50, right now, we're in the 3rd house, in annual perfection. So hip hop is in Taurus, where Jupiter and Uranus is in transit. Okay? So it's kind of like funny because it's like there's this sudden things in celebrating and honoring the culture, but there's this like desire for like breaking free, trying to get the proper money from the streaming services. Taurus is money, Jupiter's expansion, Uranus is the spiritual awakener. People are wakening up. Snoop Dogg was at some financial conference and was like, what's going on with the streams, y'all? Because money ain't adding up and I'm about my business. They didn't think Snoop was going to say that, but Snoop spoke up for the artists. That was real. You could say whatever, you know, you like him, you don't, or you think he's sold out or whatever, but Snoop was real talking about that because that's why the actors are on strike now. The writers, entertainers and artists, they don't get nothing. It's way worse than even back in the days in the 90s in terms of the streams. These labels are pocketing all that dough, okay? So that's right now where we're at with hip hop, the local communities, Taurus, the money in the bank. What are our values? It's time to revisit it. And next year, it's going to be Gemini, 4th house. It's time to get back to writing, to the creativity, to getting in your home and getting in your book and writing rhymes for the culture, for hip hop. Okay? The DJ, the MC, the B-boy, you know what I mean? Graffiti artists, they were bombers. B-boys, up rocking. Go watch Beat Street, Wild Style. Breaking was a little, you know, that was a Cali version. It was all right. But when you saw Beat Street and Wild Style, you know, those joints were crazy. What else before we come back and get off the chart? So we definitely got to talk about the 7th house, right? Virgo, Venus. So what's fascinating about that, you guys, Venus is in its fall in Virgo, and home in Taurus and Libra, exalted in Pisces, that falls in Virgo. But Venus in Virgo is very much in its sweet spot when it's being of service to others, when it's caring about humanity. This is the 7th house of fame. Virgo is about the health, the wheat and the medicine. Virgo, the virgin, right? You got Venus in the 7th house. That can be more than one marriage. Venus is the love language. Virgo's the Venus and Virgo. That's talking about the love language. right? We got to get back to unity and health. Hip hop is supposed to be, and it is, a culture. It's not something you throw away and just, dispose of it and throw it in the trash, and these bubblegum rhymes and these rappers disrespecting themselves and women and ODing on drugs. No, and singing about WAP and this and no. It's got to get back to being of service to humanity and teaching the culture and the youth. Venus and Virgo in the 7th house. It's the contracts, the negotiations. What does Virgo do with Venus, the money? It's going to be analytical, logical, and critical and make sure my money is right. Virgo's about fixing things, making things better, analyzing and assessing. That critical eye. That's what hip hop needs. To be brought back to life, to honor its culture, its forefathers. I know they got the Hip Hop Museum in the Bronx, but we need to honor the writers. I remember Arsenio Hall was the best show for hip hop because he would actually honor the artists and their skills. Having De La Soul on and Rakim, he got kicked off once he had Farrakhan on. That was too much. They were like, "Oh, Arsenio, you went too far." Remember that?
It's a little too black.
A little too black. But think about it, you guys. We don't have. I think they just brought back 106 in Park. But remember Rap City? Remember Yo MTV Raps after school? In New York City, we had a video music box with Ralph McDaniels. What? Come on, Danny, Evelyn, y'all know? Oh my gosh. This is my first love. I love hip hop. I am hip hop, like Harris once said. I'll be 80, 90 years old, and I will still spit bars and rhyme. All right? My last breath, I will rhyme. I promise you that. Hip hop is, and also, let's not forget this Lilith, true Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius, right? And this is where in public, because remember I tell you guys, Lilith is very strong in the angular houses. So what has hip hop has been happening to it? It's been over sexualized in public. That's becoming the legacy of hip hop. When WAP wins Song of the Year, the Grammys and stuff like that. And Megan Thee Stallion. And shout out to them. Yeah, shout out to them, because I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm just showing the chart and speaking the truth.
They're just filling roles.
Yeah.
That have been prepared for them.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
For them, they're like, well, we make a lot of money and we're doing this. Maybe that is completely them. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they evolved from the time they started. But they're part of a machine that I don't think they can necessarily back away from.
And right now, unfortunately, so many artists are selling out their souls and doing things that they don't really want to do. You've seen interviews and people like Tekashi 6ix9ine or whatever, these crazy people like saying stuff like, yo, you don't know what this is. You're a slave. You got to do this. You got to do that. Well, this Lilith.
Well, isn't that what Prince wrote on his cheek? Gen X could have told you that.
Yeah, the OGs. And also shout out to the Locks, Jadakiss, you know what I'm saying? All these, Mace, all these different cats from back in the day. I liked Mace when he was Mace Murder doing mixtapes in Harlem. All right. But y'all, I love hip hop. I love the culture. This Jupiter, the chart ruler, and Aquarius, this is what we got to hold on to. Eros is here. We got to hold on to being innovative, being futuristic, being, hip, you know what I mean? And I think, one thing that's fascinating, you see this Jupiter is kind of opposing the Mercury in the 6th house, the Leo Aquarius, the lower mind and the higher mind. And, we got to speak the truth from the heart, but then the Jupiter, we got to teach the collective and the humanity and bring back the love and positivity, and the consciousness to hip hop. Pisces on the ascendant, it really speaks to hip hop being able to shape shift and morph. And then get back to the thing. And being creative and to the
I'm so sorry for you.
And it's about us being, honoring the culture and being creative. So before we go, let's get, in the chat, what'd you guys think about the chart? Any thoughts or questions or comments? I mean, I could go on forever breaking it down.
Everybody knows about Arsenio
Yeah.
and Yo MTV Rap and Naughty by Nature.
Love Tretch.
Blanco's talking about that. Let's see. Beat Street.
Yeah.
All right. That was Danny Figueroa.
Remember that?
Kumo D, the Wild Wild West.
And Kumo D was a Leo.
And New Jack Swing. Yep.
Oh, and New Jack City, the movies, right?
Chart? Well, we must have wrote that before we got into it.
Yeah.
We got it, girl. Did you get it, girl? That was Irene Mack asking about what
Pisces rising, Leo sun, Capricorn moon. And I'm a Capricorn moon. And that's the thing. Capricorn moon's very creative writers and disciplined for hard work. Okay. And let me tell you, I would come out of the booth when I'd be in the studio and rhyming, and she'd tell you, because she came to the studio a couple of times. She was on my second album. My shirt would be wet, sweating. Because when you're in the studio and you're in the booth, right, it's hot in there. And you in there and you spitting them bars and you getting them rhymes and lyrics out. It's a workout. You go in there, you leave the studio after a couple of hours, you could lose a couple of pounds. You know what I mean? When you love it and you take it serious, it's not some just like, oh my God, I'm going to do a new song and upload it on, whatever. Rhyming like, yo, what up, doe? What up, young? What up, shorty? What you see? I'm going to take you to the club and take out your, I don't want to curse and say bad stuff, but it's not that. Being an MC is for real. It's serious. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm looking back.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying I'm looking back through. There's a lot of good conversation that was going on when that was up. We cannot see the
can't see the chat, when we're showing the chart.
When the chart's up. So I'm kind of going back.
You can read a couple if anything.
And Kenneth Bowes, he was just saying that he shares a birthday with Nas.
You're a Virgo? What up, yo? Virgo MCs, Dougie Fresh, Nas, yourself, my boy, E-Complete. Yo, Kenneth, shout out Virgos, all right?
Have we met Kenneth before?
No, first time.
Oh, Kenneth, you're new.
Yeah,
well,
welcome.
Then you better give us your sun, moon, and rising.
Well, we know his son's Virgo. What's your moon and rising, Kenneth? Yeah.
And we mentioned Slum Village.
Love Slum Village.
Okay.
And Mood from Ohio.
And so he's September 14th.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, we're heavy Virgo people here.
Our house is Virgo'd up.
So yeah.
But I love the Virgo MCs. Exhibit, Big Daddy Kane, Nikki D. She got the same birthday as me and Kane. Oh, love Jay Dilla. Let me tell you something, right? Jay Dilla, Oh, and let me say this. I met him before he died. Shout out to Big L. I met Guru, these cats that are gone. Heavy D is one of my favorites. Heavy D is the one who brought out Notorious Big. Biggie Smalls was on Heavy D's first, maybe his fourth or fifth album, and he was on a song called A Bunch of Niggas. That was the first track that Biggie was on. And I saw Biggie at the Palladium when he first performed for the hip-hop movie. I forgot the name of it, with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, the fat Dr. Dre. Who's the Man? Okay. Oh, I love my cranium. I remembered Who's the Man at the Palladium, and he did the song Party and Bullshit and Party. And then they broke out to the fight and did a fake fight on the stage, and everybody in the Palladium thought it was real. It was crazy. Yo, that night was crazy, yo. Hip hop history.
So, Kenneth is.
I got hip hop stories for days.
So he's a Virgo.
That's right.
Scorpio moon.
Scorpio moon in the house.
And a Cancer rising.
Okay, so Kenneth, Scorpio moon. Your mother either went preeclamptic, you were breech, a C-section, something happened with the pregnancy or the birth. So if you know, or if you don't know, ask Mom Dukes. If you do know, please share. But yeah, if you have a Scorpio sun, moon, rising, that's what went down. All right.
Well,
yeah. So we're going to get ready to go. We got to get the kids to bed. But thank you, hip hop. Thank you for those who are here tonight, sharing my love, my first love. This is my true love, my second love. but hip hop's my first love. Okay. And shout out to Super Rhyme, Supernatural, Craig G. I mean,
he's gonna ask.
Master Ace. Go ahead. Who's that?
He said he's gonna ask. So that means he has to come back.
You don't know.
Share.
Okay, yeah. So ask. Yeah. So hopefully you come back. Maybe I'll be on Saturday or Sunday night. I try to come on twice a week. We'll see. Maybe I'll come on Sunday night and rock for a minute. Sunday late afternoon. But this was fun, you guys. And listen. I know that it's changed so much, and I don't really like listening to it anymore. But every once in a while, whether you go back and dig in the crates, shout out to Alcoholics. I met them. They were crazy, cool cats, mad fun. There are people still out there doing stuff who still love it. Shout out to Rugged and Raw, Fred Ones, my DJ and producer. Shout out to Jay Styles. Shout out to DJ Crazy Killer, my boy Edwin. I hope he's watching this and listening to this. You know what I'm saying? He's a blind DJ. He was one of my students at my school that I taught in the Bronx. And I took him to the studio and he got to learn. And now he makes his own music. Yeah, totally blind, born blind, incredible young man.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He's a Libra. You know what I mean? And I just want you guys to understand, like, people really do. I really do. I love hip hop. She'll tell you, I rhyme every day. Mm-hmm. I love hip hop, and it really hurts me, and I get angry. I take this personal, because when you grow up with something and you're a part of it, and you're born and raised in New York City, and you around the culture, and you see, you know what I'm saying, and you go to the studios and you rhyme, and you in Brooklyn and you in ciphers. I used to rhyme with Cannabis in college in Maryland. I was at the New Music Seminar in '94. Right when Jay-Z was rocking with Original Flavor, almost wound up battling Jay-Z. I was out there with Mad Skills and these kids from Chicago, Stony Island, and we were all rhyming. And Clark Kent took Jay-Z inside. It was like, yo, you got $1,000 to battle my cat? If not, whatever. He battled some whack kid in Brooklyn, and it was just not even fair. And then he was like, who else wants to battle? And me, Stony Island, and Mad Skills were like, yo, we want some. Clark Kent was like, you got 1,000? Come on. We young men out there. Nobody had $1,000. But anyway, so that's hip hop history. I remember DJ Rectangle. I met Harry Allen from Public Enemy that day in New Music Seminar. I mean, hip hop, y'all. It's
that's a bomb squad.
The Bush Babies. I met the Bush Babies.
Harry Allen was bomb squad, right?
Yeah. Public Enemy. Harry Allen. He was the publicist. And Harry Allen, you can ask him. Check the Easter egg about Harry Allen. Shout out to Public Enemy. Okay, Big Daddy Kane. The Beastie Boys. Third Base. What? Do y'all remember? What do we think about Hammer? The gas face. The gas face. The gas face. Hammer gets the gas face. Prime Minister P.
I will say that was a fun concert.
Hammer has some good songs. I'm not hating on Hammer. He went through a lot.
Hammer anytime he gets an opportunity.
Hey.
It's that whole East Coast, West Coast.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Wait. I'm gonna tell you something. If you look at my collection, I still got all the West Coast. I had almost every Ice Cube album. I had the N-Word for Life, that cassette tape. I used to play that when I was working.
Did you get into Ice-T? I used to like Ice-T.
I liked Ice-T when he had his wife on the album cover, but his music, it was all right. But I worked with Ice-T, and I met him. He was a cool dude. But let me tell you, man, and Charlie Baltimore, I worked with her on Oz, right when she was dating Biggie before Biggie died. I met Charlie Baltimore. Anyway, but just, so many great people, personalities, artists. Cannabis was the real dude. We used to rhyme all day, all night down in Maryland. I used to be, shout out to my boys at the DJ Dominator, DJ Shortcut, DJ J, my boy Kwame Ohaney Frimpong. At the University of Maryland, WMUC, all the rappers used to come down there before they went to my boy Big Tigger, who I went to Maryland with. What up, Tig? From Rap City. He was at WPGC in DC, the radio station, if you guys know it. I know Javanka, you know it. So I used to be rhyming with all the cats when they would come into town when I was down to college in the radio show. And I used to spit every Friday night on the WMUC radio show in Maryland. So hip hop, y'all. I love it. God bless y'all. Thank you. Please, the Leo birth chart sale still rocking. You're a Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Holla at your boy. Hit me up, bigeastrology@gmail.com. I promise you, the website's coming, and you still got time. Sign up. Astrological Coffee Talk with Eric is this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours over Zoom. It's only $20. You can pay me Zelle, PayPal, Cash App. I'm going to teach a lesson on the Virgo Mercury retrograde chart, which is August 23rd, and Virgo season. That chart is wild. And then we're going to read 2 Coffee Talk members' charts together. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. 11th house crew. It's a great way to talk, share, and learn astrology. So I appreciate y'all more than you could even know. And thank you for indulging me and looking at hip hop's birth chart. And yeah, Pisces rising. That's what hip hop is: creative, spiritual, and a shapeshifter. All right.
All right. Well, good night, y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Peace. Hip hop forever.
Bye.
Check it out. True Speaker, E-Complete, episode 157. Knowledge is love. I love you, hip hop.
Night.